On this episode of Road Trip Masters, we cruise into a town that's considered Coast Guard USA.
Then head over to a brewery that's a Michigan legend.
We'll chomp down on some chicken towers, get lost in a blueberry heaven,
And see some fountains that pack a serious punch.
so sit back, relax, and let us do the driving
Right here on Road Trip Masters.
I'm Nick Kessler.
And I'm Brian Fulmer.
We're teachers that have a passion for travel.
Cruising the highways and byways in our 1968 drop-top caddy.
We discover the places and people that make this nation great. We are Road Trip Masters. This week, we're traveling to the popular Lake Michigan beach town of Grand Haven. Nestled at the base of the Grand River, this town was originally established as a fur trading outpost. Grand Haven's economic development has evolved over time, from lodging and lumber mills in the late 19th century to the industrial growth and expansion of the early 20th century. Today, this Michigan town stands as a premier tourist destination with its big, beautiful beaches, historic charm, and small-town feel. Grand Haven is sure to leave a lasting impression. With the sun shining and the caddy gleaming, Brian and I decided to make our first stop with a fearless group that calls this strip home, the United States Coast Guard. All right, Brian, here we are. I'm going to say U.S. Coast Guard Station, Grand Haven. Is that correct,
That's
Master
correct.
Chief?
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about the Coast Guard. Why in Grand Haven? What's your mission, basically?
Search and rescue is primary mission, and then we move on to some safety boat checks or a law enforcement mission, which is to prevent a search and rescue before it happens.
Take us through the day-to-day operations of the Coast Guard.
So we've got two duty crews, so you got kind of a firehouse duty. They're standing crews ready to go with kind of a boat sitting right over there, ready to go if there's any emergency.
Now, Master Chief, the station here at Grand Haven has a special title, Coast Guard City, USA. Why was it given that title?
There's a long, tight history between Grand Haven City and the actual Coast Guard. It dates back to the life-saving service. When this town began, there was a lot of interest on the water. At times, storms would come through and there would be people in peril or boats in peril. But throughout that time, there was such a connection between the Coast Guard and the community. 98, actually, Congress made it official where this is the Coast Guard City, USA. There are 20 Coast Guard cities since, but this is the original and this was where all began.
Master Chief McKay and his squad dedicate endless amounts of time protecting Grand Haven and its community. It was time for Brian and I to hit the water with Chief Petty Officer Pryor to see how him and his team tackle drills to get the job done. Man overboard drill, Brian. I'm excited. Apparently they get it done in 3 minutes or less. We're gonna see. And that's when Oscar, the sacrificial lamb, got tossed into the drink. Then Chief Petty Officer Pryor steered us into a heavy weather turn that kicked the crew into high gear. God, I'm nervous. I got like a lump in my throat. I too. I think my heart's pounding. All right, make it our pro! Oscar is in 1:20 in the rescue. Chief, that was fast. 1:20.
We try to practice, we try to get better. Sometimes we race each other to get the best time,
Chief Petty Officer Pryor and his team couldn't have impressed Brian and I more. This Coast Guard facility holds a seriously talented crew. Grand Haven is surely in good hands with this team around, and it's clear as day that this city loves them. For us, it was back to land, walking away, honored to be among such a dedicated and heroic program. After catching up with the men and women over at Grand Haven's Best, we decided to swing over to the Toasted Pickle, a local spot worth raving about. And everyone in town agrees that this place is a must for a sandwich that tastes even better than it looks. And oh boy, do they look good.
I'm back here with Chef Matt. Chef, I caught you at the worst time, dinner time, so you guys got a lot of things going on, but I heard you had something special for us today.
Yep, we're working on our Nashville Hottie. It's gonna be a chicken sandwich. We're gonna make a couple sauces here that we always make in-house. Get it all together so you can see what it looks like.
Great, where do we start?
We're gonna start here with our Hottie sauce. So I've got a little bit of liquid butter here. I've also got some honey and a few different spices that I kind of mixed up ahead of time. So we're gonna go in with that.
Now, Chef, when you say hottie sauce, on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being unbearable, what are we talking?
Honestly, I'd put it at like a 6. It balances out really well with all the honey that's in there, so you get a little bit of heat, but quite a bit of sweet as well. But overall, the sandwich has so many kind of sweet or creamy ingredients that it doesn't come out too hot. It comes out, I think, really well balanced. All right, so that's that one. So we're moving into our Serrano crema. This is a nice, quick, easy one. Anybody can kind of do this. We got a little bit of sour cream here in our container. We're coming in with some mayonnaise, some fresh Serrano peppers, with some of the seeds left in for a little bit of the heat, and then just a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's everything that goes in there.
And back to the blender.
Pull out our nice big blender here. Everything on this sandwich we're doing here is made in-house, except for the bun and the pickles. A little bit of heat, a little bit of sugar, and that's kind of the theme of this whole sandwich.
All right, so now we have our 2 sauces made. What's next?
We're gonna move on to building the sandwich. So the first thing I'm gonna do is grab my chicken. I'm sorry, I forgot it in the back room. Well, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna throw our sandwich together. So we got a couple of our chicken breasts here that we bred in-house with a little bit of buffalo-style hot sauce in the batter. So they've got a little bit of heat to them. We're gonna drop those right in our deep fryer. While we're getting our bun ready, we're gonna throw that right on the grill with a little bit of butter. Let that crisp up nice. It gives a nice texture balance to the sandwich. Kind of helps soak up some of the sauce. Makes it a little less messy, though it can still be a messy sandwich. That's half the fun of it. But that's gonna complement our sauces, our coleslaw. As soon as that's done, we're gonna put this together. I think our bun is ready. Bring this over to our tray. The first thing we're throwing on here is the Serrano crema, the crema that we just made a minute ago. Then we're gonna go on with our nice hot chicken. The next step is some of our Nashville Hottie sauce. As it warms up, it soaks down into that chicken breading and kind of all marries together just perfectly. These are those sweet hot pickles. This creates the halfway point of the sandwich.
The halfway point.
It's tall. One more piece of chicken on top of there. A little bit more of that Nashville Hottie sauce. Both the chickens get it. Some of our house-made coleslaw right on top of that. The top of our bun here. And our signature is a nice big pickle spear right on top.
Chef, you said you had something special for us, and you truly do. But can you make one more for my buddy Nick?
Of course I will.
Chef Matt was a man of his word. The team at the Toasted Pickle knew how to make a sandwich that packed a mean punch. Along with good eats, they also served up lemonade beverages made from scratch. This place was truly worth talking about. The Grand Haven region is filled with beautiful spots to stay. But with Brian and I as educators, we thought it'd be best to hunker down at Camp Logic, a camp resting along the shores of Lake Michigan, and its goal, giving back to the Grand Haven community. The camp's owner, Rick, and his team spend summer after summer with underprivileged youths, making sure they have the opportunity to enjoy what Lake Michigan has to offer. Rick, Camp Logic, out here in Michigan, what can you tell me about the history?
Yeah, well, we were established here on this property in 1921, and it started out with kids just needing a recreational experience to get out of an orphanage and out to Lake Michigan. Now it has become an opportunity for all kids, but one of our focuses is basically not allowing financial burden to get in the way of kids coming to camp.
So the mission basically is to give, shall we say, underprivileged children a chance to come out to the country.
Yeah, I mean, we aim to serve all kids, that they have a fully diverse experience. So you might have a very affluent child or a suburban or country kid that's with an urban kid, so that they have an experience with somebody maybe they've never walked around with or been in a cabin with.
Now with Brian and I being teachers, this one hits home.
Yeah.
And this is what it's all about. what are some of the activities that the kids can participate in at Camp Logic?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're totally on board with that. Glad to have teachers out here. You know, we definitely are focused on education, but we want to do it with a fun flavor.
Look at the deer, you guys, look.
You have archery behind us. We have a rock wall and high ropes experience with a new zip line that we just started. They can swim in Lake Michigan or in the pool. We try to offer lots of amenities where they have both tons of recreation, but some educational touch too.
Rick, as an educator, I love what you got going on here, and thank you for doing what you do.
You bet.
Brian and I have been hitting the roads for a number of years, traveling state to state in search of some of America's true gems. In Michigan, one spot is mandatory if you're cruising through. A place where brews are the true ruler and flavor is king. Michigan has multiple breweries, but one place takes the craft of liquid gold to a whole other level. Welcome to Founders.
Brian, here we are, the iconic Founders Brewery, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we got Jeremy right here. Jeremy, what are we going to see today? What's going on the floor?
Well, we got a lot of stuff. We're making beer, we're moving beer, packaging beer, and hopefully some people are drinking beer too.
Jeremy, can you take us through the history of Founders?
We opened our doors in 1997. There was only a couple breweries in town at the time. Craft beer was just kind of getting rolling, and we were making your basic beers that people expected at the time. And we kind of started to go down a different path when things like Dirty Bastard and Breakfast Stout started coming out. And those kind of separated us from the pack of all these like more mellow, easy drinking beers. Fast forward to 2007, and we came out with All Day IPA. That really provided the volume boost that created the need for building a new upgraded facility. And our biggest investments we've made has been in the quality department, maintenance department, things that are going to keep our gear working, keep the beer as we intended it, and the consumers appreciate that.
Now, Jeremy, the all-day IPA. A little bird told me that you are the guy responsible for it.
That's true. That was on my watch. That's my baby. I spent a lot of time trying to dial in that recipe. You know, I wanted to have that big hop flavor, but not be too bitter, not be too aggressive, and have the right level of sweetness and dryness on the palate so that you actually do want to, make your way through that 15-pack.
Jeremy and the talented team at Founders clearly put everything they have into the craft of well-balanced beers. And because of that, this company is in high demand. For Brian and I, it was finally time to sit back and enjoy some brews that come poured with the heart and soul from the individuals who stand behind it. All right, Brian, here we washed out to, and I'm excited. Jeremy, What do we got in front of us? What are we going to sample and taste today?
Well, you can see we got a broad range of colors, starting with not much at all. That's our seltzer. So it's got the lime, it's got a little bit of salt in there too, which really helps with the mouthfeel and the body of it.
Oh, yeah. What do we got next, boss?
Well, I believe this would be our famous all-day IPA.
This is your baby right here.
That's right. This one is paying the bills, so they say.
Great beer to have in the summer or the winter, no matter what you're doing.
All right, what's next?
I believe this would be our Frangelic Mountain Brown, which is a imperial brown ale aged with hazelnut coffee.
And last but not least,
well, we have this pink thing here, which I believe we call this our Rubaeus. This is just an American ale with a whole lot of raspberries. So
that's excellent.
Thank you.
Now that one I didn't expect to have the taste that it does. Well, boys, in honor of my father, who was the originator of the IPAs, I'm going to say back in the 70s, he always drank them. Jeremy, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Jeremy.
It was yet again another beautiful day in Grand Haven, A perfect reason to cruise around in the caddy and spend the day outside soaking in the sun. With the weather as good as it was, it made perfect sense to meet up with Tiffany from Blueberry Haven, a local Michigan spot that takes blueberries from the field straight to the kitchen. Tiffany's blueberry products have quite the reputation, and it was time to find out why. All right, Brian, here we are at a blueberry field, but why?
We're gonna talk blueberries. Tiffany, why did you bring us to this first stop?
This is an example of a lot of farms throughout West Michigan. It's about 40 acres, and most of these blueberries here on these bushes are all sold directly to the wholesalers.
Why Michigan?
Well, in Southwest Michigan, we have really sandy beaches and sandy soil, which a lot of people don't know. They grow big and they're really good. And once you've had a Michigan blueberry, you're gonna start looking for it in your grocery store. Actually, Michigan's cultivated blueberry production is about 45% of the nation's blueberry.
I think, Brian, we gotta go out there and get hands-on and pick some of these little treasures.
I got my pickers all ready.
So Tiffany, here we are, out in the middle of a blueberry field. What are we gonna experience here?
So these bushes are a variety called blue crops, and in Michigan there's 17 to 20 varieties of blueberries, and they become ripe all through different times of the seasons. But you can see these are gonna be a little tart because they're not totally ready to go, but there's a couple on there that are
would you
ready
say
to go.
this would be one that's
That
ready to
looks
go?
like it's pretty close to being ready. You let me know how good it is.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I don't taste the tartness, I taste the sweetness.
So you would say this light one
It's not
that's
right.
still green
Yeah.
would be a tart.
Yeah, that would be a tart one. That would be a tart one, right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. Packs a punch.
It was certain that Tiffany knew what she was doing, picking blueberries that only provided the freshest taste. Across town, at the grand finale, Justin uses these fresh purple circles to create everything from jams, jellies, to delicious pastries. And certain perfected products hit the shelves at Tiffany's storefront, Blueberry Haven. This is where patrons can rack up everything blueberry, even beverages.
Well, Tiffany, from farm to bakery to your shop, we really come full circle. Can you tell us about some of your product?
Absolutely. This is actually the Lake Michigan chutney, and this one is the salsa. But we have more products than that. We have muffins and scones and pancakes. We have chocolates. We have salad dressings. Actually, the salsa is one of my best-selling products, but people think blueberry salsa, but when you taste it, it's pretty good.
I'm ready to dig in. What about you, Brian?
I'm with you.
All right, my friend. Oh, yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
To Blueberry Haven.
To blueberries. And just like that, it was time for a final stop in the Grand Haven area. Brian and I found the perfect spot for a top shelf finale. Back in the downtown area, Ryan and his team at the Grand Haven Musical Fountains really knew how to make a lasting impression, wowing the community one valve at a time. Ryan, here we are, Grand Haven Musical Fountain, a legend here in this town, and we got Ryan, and we are in the pump room, is that correct?
That is correct. We're in the pump house of the Grand Haven Musical Fountain.
So when you look at the pumps here and all the different piping, how does the fountain actually work?
Well, these 3 pumps and motors take the water from down the basin below and all around us and pumps it through the pipes that you see here outside to the actual fountain. Now what you see above is those clear boxes, and the green, which is actually a valve below it. That's what controls the water to come from inside to go outside, and it turns on in the different parts of the show that we want it to turn on for.
So you look at the massive pipe connection outside. It's like a maze. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so a lot of the piping that's there is actually original. Some of it has been redone, but actually most of it has been repainted. Most of what you see out there is all water. However, there are some conduits for light and some conduits for air.
So when somebody comes to Grand Haven, when can they view the show?
We run nightly as early as 8:30 at night, but as late as 10 p.m., just depending. We want to make sure it's nice and dark, or dark enough for the fountain so you can see all the lights and the colors.
Besides the pump house here, the electronic control room.
Yes, do you like that name?
I
Seems a
love
little
it.
bit out of date. The fountain was opened in 1962. Now originally the fountain was controlled manually by switches, turning the fountain on and off. Over the years, it's evolved, but that is where the actual brains of the show is.
I hear that pump right in the background. It's hissing at us. I say we fire this baby up.
Fountain time.
Well, Ryan, here we are, ready to fire this puppy up. Ryan, what do we do?
We're gonna go to start number 3 first, and then number 2, and then I bet you can guess what's next.
Ryan, give the honors, buddy.
Ryan, permission to engage number 3.
Engage.
Number 3, engaging.
Oh, you can feel the power. Permission, Ryan, for number 2.
Permission granted, sir.
Ryan, permission to engage pump 1.
Permission granted.
Pump 1, engaged.
And there it is, folks. Another destination, another amazing time. Ryan and the musical fountains at Grand Haven made the perfect end to an awesome adventure. Michigan is full of surprises, incredible people, and beautiful locations. So mark your calendars, plan your trip, and see what this place has to offer. Until next time, I'm Nick Kessler.
And I'm Brian Fulmer. Stay curious, my friends.
Safe travels.